What's good, guys? Welcome back to Small Talk on Head-to-Head Fantasy Basketball. All right, you're joined by two hosts today. My name is Alan.
I'm Anson. Today we're going to be doing another mock draft for ESPN head-to-head points. This time I'm going to be drafting from the 10th pick. Alan will be showing you guys how he would draft with the 12th pick. If you guys want a specific pick, let us know in the comments. We'll try to do another draft and just try to cater to whatever pick you guys have. But yeah, we're going to get started pretty soon.
Yeah, I got my sound muted already, so I'll already get started. Just seeing there's like about two, three people that are autoing. Hopefully they join back in and they're ready to start drafting with us. But yeah, I would kind of see how everyone else drafts. So Jokic goes first, of course. Garrett's great team with Jokic. And this will be a 12 team, right? I guess because the last video we did is a 10 team. So we kind of want to do a 12 team for you guys. Giannis goes second. Okay, that's cool. Giannis, Luca. Let's see who else keeps going. Let's see. I mean, who are you targeting at 10? Who do you feel like would fall to you besides obviously a top six? All right, gonna be taken.
Yeah, just based off ESPN, I'm gonna do a similar strategy to what I did in the last mock draft. If you guys have
Mm-hmm.
not seen that, I basically avoided point guards. I still ended up with 10 point guards, so I'm up next. Shit. Normally,
Okay.
I would love Damian Lillard here. I really like
Yeah.
Trey Young here as well. Man, I think I'm just forced to take a point guard.
I was gonna say the same thing. Like I feel like for this one,
And
I might go a different strategy. Might grab some point guards to just show you guys how difficult it would be to draft later on with point guards. With if
yeah,
so,
I'm gonna go with the safe pick right now. I'm gonna just go with Trey Young, someone who can play a lot of games.
yeah, solid.
With Damian Lillard, there's some injury concerns there. So I'm gonna just go with the safer route. Last route, I went really risky, as you guys saw. I went with Embiid, and then I went with LeBron. Took a lot of risks. So
Mm.
this time, I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna take just try to be more safe with my picks.
So this guy grabbed Devin Booker. Oh no, he grabbed Curry. Okay. So for me, I think LaMelo here is solid. I feel like his upside is very. I think his ceiling is high and coming off injury is a little concerned, but I think LaMelo here is fine. Grabbing point guard here, and then I'll grab. I'll grab Dame here just to show you guys. In a real draft, I don't recommend you grabbing two point guards, but if you guys just want to see how difficult it would be if you had two point guards, I'll show you this right now. So I'll grab LaMelo Dame, which I don't recommend, but you guys will start seeing. I'm gonna start struggling with drafting players later on, but right off the back, two point guards. As you can see, point guard positions are filled already. Right, so who knows? Maybe it might work out, but I'll definitely try. My next pick is in literally after like 20 people, so we'll see who's still on the board for
So,
me after that.
so
Um,
Kevin Durant was just taken. That's kind of who I was targeting. I
mhm.
went with LeBron last mock draft. I am gonna go a little bit lower. A lot of times we do mock drafts. A lot of people just pick from the top, very safe. I'm gonna just go with Anthony Davis this year.
Mm,
If he's healthy, if he can stay healthy and play 60 games, we know Anthony Davis is a top five player.
yep.
So I think I think with me going Trey Young, as a very safe first round pick, I think I could definitely take on some risk with Anthony Davis.
Yeah, definitely. So you guys want to keep it balanced, you guys don't want to draft all risky, that's too risky. If you're drafting like high risk players like Zion, AD, LeBron, right? Even like Dame or LaMelo, like it when those guys do get injured, they do have, there are injury prone is what we call them. It's difficult because it depends on how many IR slots you have. Because if you can't play them, then you just be losing out on players. So it's always good to keep a balance of risky players that could stay healthy or could stay like could get injured, but you're understanding the risk you're drafting them at. Zion,
How do you feel about Zion just getting picked right now at
yeah, I was
21?
yeah Zion getting picked here is interesting. Obviously we understand how great Zion is when he's healthy, right? If he's able to play 60, 50, 55 games, I think here's fine if he's able to play 55 games. What do you think?
If he could play maybe 60,
Yeah.
55 is a bit low for
Yeah.
21 because there's still players like Pascal Siakam who could honestly, Pascal Siakam can, he should be able to produce maybe three less fantasy points than Zion per game, but without Van Vliet now, they're almost similar. So I mean, straight up with the injury concern, I might just take Pascal Siakam.
Hmm. Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
agree
I'm
with
I'm
you there.
surprised Pascal Siakam is ranked so low on ESPN's list. If it was up to me, I would have already took Pascal Siakam. So if he falls to me somehow, I'm gonna take my second power forward.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. There's a bunch of autos that might grab it, sadly. There's like what, three autos in front of you? Yeah, it might be
Yeah.
taken. Yeah, I mean, even Jordan Poole just went after Zion is kind of crazy to me. I like I understand, there's this hype around Jordan Poole, like, oh, it's his villain arc, he's gonna come out like, but the thing is, it's very difficult for a player to come out and just become like amazing. I think it'll take some ramp. Like if he's able to produce well this year, then next year I'll be more inclined to say, okay, Jordan Poole could be a top 25 player. But I have to see something first. It's difficult to just throw him like. For example, I'll use a comparison again, Mikal Bridges, right? Anson's coming up right now, but very quick, like, okay, Anson, you want to go first and talk about your draft really quick before we talk about Jordan Poole?
Yeah, so I'm gonna do my best to refrain from point guards again. Um, I don't want to go with Victor Wembanyama again, just because I went with him last time. So I'm actually gonna go with Brandon Ingram because you guys gonna see small forward and power forwards are very scarce. So I'm gonna try to fill up my forward position, but I do think Victor Wembanyama would be very interesting here.
Mm,
Just because he's able to get blocked. So if he's able to come back to me, I'm gonna take Victor, but
yeah,
he
I'm gonna
just got
grab
taken.
Victor's
So
already been taken, so I'm gonna grab Jaren Jackson here because I do need a power forward. And then I will take some risk and draft, debating between Cat and Kawhi, but I do like Kawhi since he is a small forward. But yeah, I'll grab Kawhi here. So right now it seems okay, drafting 2 point guards in the beginning. It is a 12 man, and I do want to say that I don't usually play 12 men, so this is more one of the earlier first or second times I'm drafting for a 12-man team. But yeah, so far, LaMelo Dame back to back, and I got Kawhi Jaren. I think it's pretty solid. I'm looking for Jaren Jackson to have higher upside just because John Moran is out. But yeah, going back to Jordan Poole being drafted so early, I like to compare him to Mikal Bridges, right? I see Mikal Bridges, the last few games, before the end of the season, Mikal was doing really, really well in Brooklyn. That's what I want to see. I haven't really seen that jump from Poole yet. So it is like me trying to gamble with it. And I don't want to gamble with it when he's getting picked well. Where did Jordan Poole get picked at?
22.
Round two, pick 10. Like, damn. Like
So
Jordan Poole, that's early. That's early. What is it? 22? 22. Let's see who's you could have got Kyrie over Poole. I think Kyrie is better than Poole, right? DeRozan, Jimmy Butler. Like I would Pascal over Poole. Like I would have all those guys over
yeah,
Poole
just
easily.
talking about Jordan Poole real quick, and I'm gonna connect it with the person I just picked up. I just picked up Jalen Brown
Mm,
with my fourth pick, but connecting it back to Poole is when you're gauging Poole, everyone's kind of following ESPN's projection of Poole and taking him anywhere from 20 to 23, 24. That's what I've been seeing in most mock drafts. I would refrain from doing that. I know if you're maybe a Jordan Poole fan or you're really excited for his upcoming season, maybe you want to draft him to watch him play games. Very excited. Can he be a top 20 player? He could, especially if you consider the fact that he does play almost every game of the season, doesn't miss a lot of games. However, what is his realistic ceiling? Do you see him leading the league in points, right? If he averages 26 points per game, I don't think he's gonna make up that 20th spot. For example, where I just got Jalen Brown at, I picked him up. And Jalen Brown's average draft position is 30. I was able to get him at 39, right? And Jalen Brown averages 27 points per game. 27 points per game last year, 26.6.
mhm.
He does get more rebounds, slightly less assistant pool, more steals. I think if you want to evaluate, if you think highly of Jordan Poole, you should evaluate him similar to where you would be evaluating guys like Jalen Brown, who averaged close to 27 points per game and not too much peripheral stats.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. Yeah, I don't know. People just trust ESPN on like, oh yeah, they have pools so high, so pools should be up there. Like these guys know what they're talking about. Like, no, man. Like, no, man. It's fantasy. Like these are projecting pool to do crazy numbers. It's if you just compare how the players did last year to ESPN that year, you'll start seeing like there's a lot of misses. Like there's a lot of hot takes that they talk about. Like it's very, very interesting when you get into it and you're like, wow, like ESPN isn't right all the time. And then if you guys don't know that, this is why you don't trust just ESPN on who they're saying that it's going to be good and who they're saying is bad. Like I can just look, Van Vliet is still down here. Like I don't
Oh,
like,
I was just gonna pick him up.
yeah. I mean, you could talk about Van Vliet real quick before you pick him up. I mean,
Yeah,
you're next. Hopefully he doesn't grab.
this it's just ridiculous. There's no reason for Van Fleet to still be here. Averaged 40 fantasy points per game last year. Per game, he was a top 20 player. Now, he played almost every game. No injury concerns despite his age. And he's gonna be with Houston next year. So there's gonna be no one there. KPJ won't be with the team, unfortunately.
You got like 5 seconds.
I just don't see
Oh yeah,
why
there you go.
Van Vliet. I just don't see why Van Vliet would decrease. The only thing I can see is that he won't be playing under Nick Nurse, that usually runs his players to the ground. But besides that, I think Van Vliet's in a really good position.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't mean to interrupt you there. I just don't want you to get auto pick the Walker Kessler. But yeah, yeah. You see, this is what I mean. Like Van Vliet, like they have Van Vliet very low. They got Kessler hella high. Like, man, I mean, I'm right here. I have a small 40. I'm gonna grab another Paul George here. I have a back to back, and I'm gonna look for probably like Miles Turner as my center. Like Miles Turner, I think that'll be my center. And I have my positions pretty much filled pretty well. I still only have 2 point guards. So, hey, somehow the point guard route, grabbing 2 point guards in the beginning for a 12 team, if you have a back to back, doesn't seem too bad. But you have to understand, maybe some of your friends in your league understands that and they let point guards slide, they grab the other positions more, then you'll probably be stuck with point guards, right? Just in this draft here, I was pretty lucky to be able to grab power forwards still. Like I got Jaren late. I want to get Jaren. I got Jaren 36 and I got Kawhi 37. Usually they would be going a lot earlier, but I think so far me getting lucky with these picks is pretty solid. I think people are grabbing point guards. Yeah, they grab like the Jonte, De'Aaron, Paul, Kyrie. Yeah, they got a lot of point guards already. But yeah, what are you looking at here? Yeah, 4 seconds. Oh, Bradley
So
Beal. Okay.
just going with Bradley Beal here. Just not a lot of options, but I'm pretty confident Bradley Beal's able gonna he's gonna be able to maintain 20 points per game. So I think he's just a very solid pick here. After this Beal pick here, I have 6 solid players. I'm gonna start being a lot more risky, but Bradley Beal is he's just that last safe player.
Yeah, yeah. Did Scoot get taken already? Let me see.
Yeah, he just got taken.
Dang, Scoot just got taken. Yeah, I see him. Yeah, I mean, we don't really get a chance to talk about the other players that we don't really get, but yeah, Screw was one of the players that I kind of want to see. I don't want to draft him too early, right? But I kind of want to see what he can do, playing as probably the number 1 or 2 option, depending on what Portland does with Scoot. I mean, I don't expect them to just ride the bench, since they did draft him second, but we'll see. We'll see how they play out. So Russell Westbrook, D'Lo game picked up. Yeah. Okay. You can see they're starting to be a little bit more Rudy Gobert. Who's that, dude? Anson, is that your favorite player?
Yeah, Rudy Gobert, you could definitely try because he's shown potential. I personally wouldn't. No, I just don't like him as a player. But in addition to that, it's just we kind of see him slowly fizzling out of the league.
Mm-hmm.
And with Cat back, he didn't do so good with Cat missing most of the season. And with Cat back now, it's just he might not be rosterable for a 10-man league. Maybe he'll be for a 12-man league.
Mm, yeah. I mean, just right now, I put some players in my queue that I'm interested in. I know you get picked before me, but I'm looking at hopefully I can get Tyler Hero. I think I need a shooting guard, so looking at Tyler Hero.
John Moran just got taken. That's who I was looking at.
Yeah, I didn't think John Moran was going to come to me, but yeah, I was like John Moran if he's somehow still there. I don't think he was going to be there. Yeah, Ty's taken. Okay. Yeah, I do. I have high upside on like Tyler Hero. Did Nick Claxton just get grabbed? Oh, yeah, he just got taken. Oh, Tyler Hero just got taken too. All right, well, everyone on my queue list just got taken. So redo my queue list real quick. Let's see. Let's see. You're up first, so go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the forward positions. They're really getting a lot of them are getting taken. There's not a lot of small forwards I like in the bottom, so I'm gonna go ahead take OG Anunoby again. I think he's a really good pick considering their second option is gone. OG should step up and be maybe the third option behind Scotty Barnes and Pascal Siakam.
Yeah, solid. So I can definitely see that happening. Um, I think Buddy Hield would be a pretty great pick here, huh? Anson?
Yeah, I
um,
think so.
you think so too, huh?
Pacers
Okay.
looking a bit more competitive.
Look how many point guards is he? Mike Conley, Brogdon, McConnell, Jaden Ivey, Derek White. So I'm gonna put Jonas Valanciunas gets taken. Okay, so I do think I just saw the report of Clay being small forward, but he's a shooting guard here, so I'll grab Clay as my shooting guard for now. I do have a back to back, and I do have enough forwards. I think I did want another center. I'm looking at either Brooke Lopez as my center, or maybe I should just grab CP3 just because he is going to be starting. I do have 2 point guards. I'm a man. I'm at 8 seconds. Man, I'm gonna grab Brooke Lopez. I'm gonna be a little more.
No, that
I'm
was
gonna,
my take.
yeah, I'm gonna grab Brooke Lopez in my center. I have two centers now, which is better, right? I mean, I already have 2 point guards, so I didn't really want another one just in case. Like I said, there's an abundance of point guards later on. Like you just see Jaden Ivey, McConnell, Brogdon, right? So there's a lot of Jeremy Grant just got taken, which is a good pick in my opinion. Who are you looking at here?
Man, do I just go this entire draft and not take a point guard? I mean, not a point guard, a center. I should. Oh man,
Yeah, there's
this
Yusuf
is
Nurkic.
fucking.
Yeah,
I
there's
have I have zero centers right now. Yusuf Nurkic could be good. It's just there's so much on that team.
I think Daniel Gafford wouldn't be too
Oh,
bad too.
I'm
I
not
mean,
taking a center.
yeah, 5 seconds.
They
Yeah, go for it.
suck. I'm gonna take Terry Rozier once again. As I
Mm,
explained last draft, it's just I don't know why he's ranked so low. He was he could definitely give you top 50 production if he could just stay healthy throughout the season. No
mm,
Kelly Oubre. Uh, Miles Bridges is coming back, but there's some concerns about him even being on the roster. He hasn't played in a while, so they're gonna slowly integrate him back into that system. So I think Terry Rozier, they're going to need a lot of scoring from him. He should keep up that 20 points per game average.
yeah, I definitely could see that happening. Though I think Terry Rozier has always been one of those players that can score at will, and then if he's able to, even when we saw LaMelo getting injured, Terry Rozier was the main benefactor from that injury. Right. I think he went from averaging like 37 to like 42, 43 when LaMelo was off the court. So yeah, especially when Oubre is out now, I have pretty high hopes for Rozier. Let me see who else is that. I'm up in like what a 13, 14 picks. Yeah, 14 more people in front of me, which is cool. I do like the fact that since I was last, I do have a back to back, so I could grab two players that I really want. But the con is you do draft a lot later than you basically don't really get a top 8, top 10 player, unless
How,
it slides to you.
how do you feel about Chris Paul this season? He just got picked at 91.
Mm,
Just to clear up some confusion, I did see someone in the comment section of our of one of our videos asking if Chris Paul would be off the bench or he's going to be starting. The reports are that he will be starting. Draymond Green will be off the bench, and in the preseason game, that's what we saw. So I'm assuming Chris Paul will start. But yeah, how do you feel about Chris Paul this season?
yeah, I agree with you there. Um, it was really kind of given, like you're not benching Chris Paul. Like, are you? And then there's a lot of confusion. And then Chris Paul even said, "Oh, I'm not coming off the bench." So I think Chris Paul does what Draymond does, is more of a playmaker. I don't know if you guys saw like some players are talking about how Draymond is actually the main point guard and Curry plays more a shooting guard. So I think having Draymond come off the bench over Chris Paul is a good. It's like I think it's good to it's worth the try. Like I kind of see how they play, and so far like they look pretty solid, right? Obviously, the defensive end is a little bit more ugly, but Who knows? Let's just see how they play out. But go ahead, Anthony. Got like 10 seconds.
Yeah, so they just took Kevon Looney. They took three centers off the board. I don't have a center yet. I'm gonna go ahead and get Mark Williams. He showed a lot of promise towards the back end of the season. Charlotte does haven't they don't have a center anymore. When Mark Williams was getting minutes after Mason Plumlee got traded, Mark Williams was showing that he was rosterable, even top 60, top 70 for periods of a time. So I went ahead and got Mark Williams. I wanted Kevon Looney. He was starting, showed a lot of good stuff in the playoffs. But yeah, who are you taking here?
I grabbed Vassell really quick. I'm looking at Vassell here for a small forward, and I'm very high on the Denver role players like MPJ, Aaron Gordon, just because they did lose Bruce Brown. I do want to see if they can improve this year. I mean, there's still Miles Bridges, but I think I'm gonna get MPJ here. Maybe, yeah, I'm grabbing MPJ here. I think kind of grab more forward routes. So I do have four small forwards now, which is fine. I think I would rather have more small forwards than point guards, in my opinion. Um, but I do see that I only have one shooting guard, so I probably should pick up another shooting guard. And let's see. Let's see. The thing is, I don't know if Vassell doesn't play small forward because Keldon is there. And I guess the Spurs lineup is a little weird right now because apparently Victor is not playing center. He's playing power forward, playing alongside Zach Collins at center. I don't know what Popovich is gonna do, and I guess we'll see for that. But as of right now, Devin Vassell's a small forward, so I'm gonna grab him really quick. But yeah, we got a lot of auto pickers coming up right now.
Yeah, so at this point of the draft, I would just recommend to pick players that have very high fantasy points per minute,
Hmm.
right? But they don't necessarily get the minutes, but you think there's a chance they can get minutes because maybe someone got traded recently. For example, Mark Williams is the guy that I targeted. High risk, high reward with Hornets not having a center. Mark Williams, their only center, he gets a lot of fantasy points per minute. If he gets 30 minutes per game, he's gonna crush it. At where I drafted him. So also went with Jabari Smith Jr. I tend towards the later parts of the draft, I tend to like to target players that are younger, guys that showed a little bit of potential, something I've seen. So I know it's only summer league, but Jabari was killing the summer league. He looks like he's very comfortable playing NBA basketball now. So maybe that's someone that could break out. That's my thinking when taking Jabari Smith Jr. here in the ninth or 10th round.
Yeah, I think that's a solid pick. I just threw some players on my queue list. I have Miles Bridges there, Gary Trent, just to see if what they can do. If they get picked up, they get picked up. Oh, I want to throw Ben Simmons in there too. So just like Anson said, you kind of want to go a little riskier on your last picks, right? You never know. They're probably going to be droppable or just cyclable or shareable eventually. But what if you land on something that's good? What if Ben Simmons magically comes back and he's actually good? Who knows? But if he is, then you kind of got yourself a decent player at such a lower pick. But yeah, I mean we do have a bunch of auto pickers, so yeah, we should probably get to Anson and Ice pretty soon. There's only probably like four players that are actually still drafting here, like actual humans drafting. But yeah, what about you? Who are you looking at right now? Jared Vanderbilt, Sexton just taken, Shannon Sharp. Okay, not bad.
So I do need one more center, and I
Mm,
don't want to take Christian Wood. I'm not sure if he does somehow make it into the starting lineup. I know AD wants to play power forward, so
hmm.
if Christian Wood does start at center, he can honestly give you pretty good value at this range if he just provides you maybe 33 to 35 fantasy points. So I think it's a pretty good risk. He's not projected to do that because I think he's going to start the season off the bench. But if he can make his way into the starting lineup, that's who I think it would really pay off.
Yeah, I could definitely see Christian Wood playing off. I heard, Darvin Ham was saying Anthony Davis gets more injured when he plays center, so they're trying to keep him to be healthy, having him play power forward, and that was the main reason why they brought Christian Wood. But yeah, so I could definitely see something happen for Christian Wood in LA. Right here, I'm gonna draft Miles Bridges here just for the upside. If he does come back, even maybe like 70, 80% of how he was, I think he'd be decent. And I do have Gary Trent or Ben Simmons queued up. I don't like Gary Trent is more of the safer pick, and like I said already, I kind of want to go a little more riskier, so I might just grab Benjamin Simmons, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna remove Gary Trent from my queue. But yeah, as so far, you can start seeing people. You start seeing some crazy picks out here, in a real draft. Some people might say, "Hey, Sadiq Bey might have a breakout year. Emmanuel quickly might have a great season." Like that, you'll start seeing people have their own kind of personal favorites that they're trying to see if they can come out. Like Dennis Schroeder could be one. He is probably the starting point guard for Toronto. So people might favor Dennis Schroeder after what he did in the FIBA, right? So you'll start seeing these picks, and I think it's fine, right? I think you should try to look for players that you personally think that can break out, and then you can pick them, and if they do pay out, then good for you.
Yeah, I think that's the bet. That's the funnest part of fantasy is towards like after the eighth round to the end of the draft, you can kind of have your own theories on who's gonna break out and see if you're right at the end of the season. So, like Alan said, for example, you could be like, okay, I after what I saw from Dennis Schroeder, and he's gonna have a lot of opportunities in Toronto with no other really starter quality point guards. Okay, maybe he's gonna put up 19 to 20 points per game, like what he did with OKC, what we saw in the Hawks early in his career. He's shown that before. So it's kind of fun just to kind of pick and guess as long as you could kind of justify it to yourself. If it makes sense to yourself, I will consider all aspects, not just one aspect. So look at his teammates, look what he's done, um, consider his age, etc.
Yeah, sorry. I'm currently looking to see who I wanted for my last pick here. Give me a second. I was looking at Marvin Bagley because I saw that he had a good little game he had um for the Pistons. Let me see.
Yeah, so at this point, you could just do dart throws. So
Yeah,
you
yeah,
could
just
look at
use.
you could look at preseason games. Honestly, Dylan Brooks might be a full-time starter, so he could be honestly a safer pick. He'd probably be starting on Houston, so
Yeah,
you
I
could
could
go
see
that
it.
route.
I could see that happening. Let me
Uh,
see. Yeah, if it gets to me, I'm probably gonna grab Marvin Bagley just for fun.
I
But
might
like I
just
said,
take him. I might just take him, so you have to think of someone else.
hey, go ahead, man.
Nah. See, right here, you just want to take a ton of risks.
hmm
Just not a lot. I'm gonna go ahead and take Malik Monk.
Solid pick,
Showed a
solid
lot of
pick.
improvement. So if he could take that second step, he could really be the Kings' third leading scorer, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah, I could definitely see that happening. Yeah, I'm just gonna grab Marvin Bagley here. He is a power forward, so which is good. As you can see, I think I did pretty well this draft. Not too many point guards. I didn't fall to the point guard trap. But so far we can go over our team really quick. I got LaMelo, Dame, Jaren, Kawhi, and then followed by Paul George, Miles Turner, Clay Thompson, Brooke Lopez, Vassell, MPJ, Miles Bridges, Simmons, and Marvin Bagley. Right. And like Anson and I said already, these last three players, if they don't do well, I'll just drop them. There's nothing too crazy. Like I'll probably just find somebody else. But make sure the first beginning of your draft, you don't take too big of a risk unless you're just like that. You want to take the big risk. Okay, then go for it. There's nothing wrong against it, but you do have to understand, that's why they're riskier players there. If they do get injured, you're suffering a lot from that if you take a big pick and grab somebody that early. But yeah, what about your team? Let's look at your team. I'll pull up your team right now on this side. Go ahead.
Yeah, so if you look at the bottom left of the screen, you can see Allen's positions. You can't see my positions, so I'll just tell you who I have, how many point guards, etc. So I made a mistake. I did draft two of every position, and then I kind of just stopped paying attention. So I ended up with five shooting guards. That's not what you want to do. You kind of want to balance it out. Maybe four if people just lie to you. You don't want to get five of one position. Remember, ESPN's only one position. So there's with this current team, I'm gonna really struggle if I was actually in a league. This is just a mock draft, but I would really struggle putting in players, especially on these holidays or um days where it's just there's everyone playing, and then the next day there's only two teams playing. You're really gonna struggle to put players in. So, I mean, looking at my team, I'm probably gonna have to drop the last two players. I really liked Gary Trent um towards the end of the draft just because I feel like there's some potential there with Fred VanVleet, their highest volume 3-point shooter not being there. They're gonna need some more 3-point shooting. Gary Trent's probably the best shooter on their team. So I
Yeah.
might have to drop Gary Trent. I wouldn't like to, but just because I have too many small shooting guards. Besides that, um, another mistake I did was neglecting a center position. You really want to make sure you take a center before Vucevic goes, before Miles Turner goes, because once they go, it's gonna be really hard for you to grab a center.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely agree with you there. It's just it's really good to do these mock drafts before your real draft, just so you can kind of see, how you like to draft. You don't want to just join a draft without any practice or like go to your main draft without any practice, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh man, I messed up, but that's your roster for the rest of the season. So I think it's always good to do some mock draft, a week or a few days before. So just to get a feel of what other people would draft, how people draft near your picks, right? And what happens if someone takes your pick? How who are you going to draft next? Because even for this mock draft, we only had 30 seconds, so it's very very hard to really consider like gather your dots and say, okay, I have this player, this player, this player, and I want to draft this guy, but he just got taken, so I had to draft somebody else. How would that affect me later? Right. So I think that should be it for the video. Do you have anything else to add for them, Anson?
Make sure you guys let us know where you guys want us to draft next. We could definitely drop more of these. We're going to be continuing dropping tier list content, giving you guys more tips. We're going to be letting you know what players are undervalued, overvalued, etc. Make sure you guys subscribe, follow for more content. And yeah, just let us know if there's anything you guys want to cover, just let us know.
Yeah, yeah, sounds good. And if that's it, then I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. Hope you guys have a great fantasy season. We'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.
Peace.